Howdy folks, Alan Butler with Butler Contracting here. Today we're going to talk about what you're getting with the cheaper fence company in Bastrop County, Texas. Alright, so you're looking at maybe getting a fence project, or you've gotten some quotes, and one's high, one's really low, one's in the middle, or maybe a bunch of them are coming in at various ranges. We hear this stuff all the time. And I think this is an important topic to address because it's something we see in our community, in our area quite often. We get told pretty frequently, man, you're 3 times the price or double the price of everyone else we got estimates from, or you're way off your rocker. And that's okay, we understand. But there's particular reasons why, and we're going to break some of those things down. I'll just say there are some great companies out there. There are some that shouldn't be in business. If you've watched this for any length of time, you've seen some of those videos. So I'm not trying to take a stab at anybody, just trying to inform and educate the public on making sure they're making the best educated buying decision for them. So number one thing I want to bring up when it comes to hiring a fence company is, do you really have a good understanding of who's going to be doing the work? Is it going to be skilled or unskilled laborers that are coming out there? During any sales process with most companies, you've got probably a couple options. One, they're a larger established company, they've got a sales team that's coming out and they're measuring stuff and they're working on getting you an estimate for the job. They're going to take it back to the office and they're going to get it to their production team. Their production team's going to work on getting a crew or a team out there to get it installed. In most cases, in most situations, that crew that's coming out is probably going to be a subcontracted team or a subcontracted crew that goes around and does fencing work for a lot of these different fence companies. So you're going to get people of varying skill sets. They might be skilled or trained at building fences well. They may not be. They just be kind of day labor style people that are coming out there to get that taken care of. So there's skilled versus the unskilled labor. That's a big issue out in our area specifically that we see, because sometimes people show up. You hired Jim. No offense to any Jims out there, but Jim came out, he sold you the job, he said he's going to get you taken care of, he sells the job to you, gets all the information, gets the materials dropped off, and he hires Billy and Johnny to come out and do the fence. Well, Billy and Johnny are a subcontractor, so you've hired them, they've subcontracted out, they come out, Billy and Johnny are charged with building this fence for a couple days for you. Well, the issue is that Billy and Johnny probably don't have a whole lot of experience with this. They're coming out there building this fence, and Jim, he shows up every once in a while to see how things are going, maybe tells them to do something different or doesn't like something, or gives them some advice. He's back on the road, on to the next job or selling the other project. So the other thing we see is maybe Jim is just a one-man show. Jim comes out, he sells the job, and he brings a day labor helper or a helper on his team that he's hired as a guy to help him out, 1 or 2 people. And he takes a week or 2 to get the job done, and he just works on that all day. And then while he's working during the day, he's stopping answering phone calls, he's talking to other customers, he has to go run to get materials, he's got to go down to Miss Susie's house down the road to do something, or maybe they had a warranty call he's got to go take care of real quick. So it leaves the other 2 helpers on the job site that are unskilled and untrained doing the work. And Jim's not there to oversee what's going on. So while he's gone, it may or may not be getting done real well or to the quality and standard that it needs to, but hey, the fence got put up. So that's the most typical scenarios that we see. Now, there are some companies that do have their own in-house installation teams out there. Butler Contracting is one of those. There are a select few other ones, but there's not a lot of them in our area. Generally, it's going to be a one-man show operation or somebody who's making a sale and subbing it out. That's the most common typical thing that you'll see. So just be aware of that when you are hiring a fence contractor. Be sure you ask those questions and make sure you're comfortable with whatever scenario they're planning for your project to get installed. In addition to that, we just want to kind of talk and hint on a little bit about how we work here at Butler Contracting. So Butler Contracting, we have all of our own in-house installation crew. All of our employees that are actual employees of our company, they're on our payroll, are going to actually show up and do your project. So when they show up, they've gone through extensive training, both in-house with our team and through the American Fence Association. All of our team members go through fence installation school and gate operator technician school to work on your specific fence project. So when you have someone show up from Butler Contracting, you're getting a highly skilled, highly trained fence installation crew member that has been trained by people that are experts in the industry through the American Fence Association, and they're experts throughout the country. They come together to train on those, to do the training in those classes. So you're getting top-notch folks in our area that have gone through the training and they're gotten professional training and continuing education annually in order to get the best quality service for you. So that's how we do things here at Butler Contracting. Not only do we send out qualified and certified installers, we also have a dedicated project manager for your project. So our project manager is in charge of communications, materials, and production management of our team for your specific project. So after I come out and make a sale, I hand that off to David, our project manager. Our project manager takes over. He reviews all the project information and he starts that communication process with you, the customer. He goes ahead and gets the materials process started for ordering what we need, and then we start working with our production team, our employees. They're going to be doing the job and start planning your project. So there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes before we ever show up. So the day that we show up, we have a good, clear plan to execute, and we're ready to go when we get out there. So those are the ways that we set ourselves apart. We're a little bit different from some of the other companies in the area. In addition to that, one thing that I definitely recommend that you ask about when you're getting these proposals back, because again, there can be varying levels of cost when you get these proposals and these estimates. So material quality is always a big one I like to bring back. Is what are you getting exactly? If you're getting metal post, know and understand what size metal post you're getting, because a lot of things that we see out there in the field, people are using undersized metal posts. They're using the cheap stuff. They're using chain link style posts that should not be used on a wooden privacy fence, for example. They're going to fail and blow over during a heavy windstorm. We're seeing 5/8 pickets being used pretty often because that's what's locally available at most big box stores. So they're sourcing materials from the DIY big box stores, Lowe's and Home Depot and things like that, where they're only getting 5/8 pickets, when 3/4 inch pickets are much more stout and much better. There are some other options to get some thicker pickets than that. So it just depends on what your needs are, what you want, but I would definitely recommend never going below a 3/4 inch picket, especially in treated. They're too thin, they buckle, they warp. We've stopped using them altogether several years ago here at Butler Contracting. So materials are a big thing. Post, wood, brackets, gates are another big hot button topic for us. All of our gate systems are metal framed, regardless of what kind of fence we put in. We've just gone to that system entirely. We have a guaranteed no sag warranty, 2-year parts and labor warranty on all of our gate systems. So there's some added advantages and understanding of what you're getting with Company A, Company B, Company C, and what they're providing, what they're offering, and what their warranties might be. So make sure you're asking about those things as far as warranty, material quality. And the last point that I like to bring up is permitting. So permitting is a whole interesting topic. So we hear a lot of stuff about, well, we don't need a permit for this project or that project. We're in the county, or the city doesn't require a permit for that. Well, in some cases that's true, and in some cases it's not. So we really need to be working with a contractor that truly understands the permitting process. Just because it may not require a city permit, or you might be out of city limits, you may require an actual county permit in some cases for a project, depending on where you're located. If you're in a floodplain, sometimes those projects are required to be permitted through the county, and it's not always our determination of what's a floodplain or not. It's the counties. They've got their own maps and their own system, their own process. So we have to go through their process to let us know whether or not we need to actually get a permit on the project. In addition to that, HOAs are another big one. Depending on where you're located, you may have some architectural control committees or HOA requirements that you need to adhere to, and HOA and ACC committees are also required by state law to make sure that they're overseeing some of these things. They have different things they have to comply with from the Texas Legislative Code. So it's not just about skirting those rules and regulations or policies. So another big one we see are pools and pool fences. I've done several videos on that. There are state laws when it comes to fencing and what kinds of fencings can go around pools as a primary barrier. So check that out if you're interested. So that's another one. I see a lot of contractors running around putting fences in that are actually illegal to have around a pool. You the customer, it leaves you up into a lot of liability, both insurance and legal liability. So make sure you're hiring somebody that has the proper knowledge. In addition to permitting, so we've got the county, the HOAs, the floodplain administrator office with the county, and then we also have city permitting. So for example, like the city of Bastrop, there are certain amounts of fencing we can do repairs on or minor replacement up to a certain percentage of the fence. Once it exceeds that threshold, then it does require a permit. So you need to understand what those are and make sure your contractor is working with the city and going through that process, and they're at least talking to them and making sure that they're not just making an assumption that, well, it's less than a certain percentage, so I don't have to do anything. Make sure that contractor is working with the city and doing that correctly. So those are a few points, how we're a little bit different here at Butler Contracting and things you should look out for when you're hiring a fence contractor. So just a quick recap of what we talked about: skilled versus unskilled labor. Does your company have in-house installers? What kind of training are these folks receiving, if anything? Are they just a crew that's been installing fences and never really been properly, formally trained by industry experts? Do they have a dedicated project management team to make sure your project goes smoothly? Have good communication? And what kind of materials are they using? And what kind of quality of work are they going to provide with those materials? What kind of warranties do they offer? And are they actually going through the permitting process? So those are some tips and tricks to look out for when you're hiring a fence contractor. If you're interested in talking about a fence project, give us a call at 844-6-BUTLER or visit our website at butler.contractors/fencing, and we'll see you on your next project.